Good afternoon. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Socorro, Texas. It is August 16th, 2022, 5:30 p.m. We call this meeting to order.
Good afternoon, establishment of quorum. I'll be taking roll call. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros,
Coming. He's right there.
Yes, sir. Say it's here. You have to say it's here.
Here.
I'll be starting over. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros,
Here.
David Estrada,
Here.
Julie Dominguez,
Here.
Miriam Cruz,
Present.
Juan Vaquera.
Here.
We have quorum with 6 commissioners present. Item number 3, notice to the public, open forum. Diana, do we have anyone that would like to speak?
We do not have any speakers.
Item number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Any second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve and second by Enrique Cisneros. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 5, public hearing request for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Robert E. Nix, survey number 303, City of Socorro, Texas, from unclassified to IC-MUD, Industrial Commercial Mixed Use District. Mr. Arroyos?
We open public hearing at 5:32. We don't have anybody, then we will close public hearing at 5:32.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Robert E. Nix, survey number 303, City of Socorro, Texas, from unclassified to IC-MUD, Industrial Commercial Mixed Use District. Carlos?
Thank you, Yadira. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Carlos Gainad with Planning and Zoning. Good to see you all again. So this is if you all remember, about a month ago, there was a larger piece of land that came with the rezoning for this item. And if you remember, at that time, we had neglected to include essentially this smaller 15-acre parcel. And so this is a month later, once we have reposted it, have sent out letters, have posted in the El Paso Times. This is now the smaller parcel. So again, a lot of the information that I'm going to provide to you will sound familiar. Again, Eastwind industrial rezoning. It is unclassified. The request is to go from unclassified to industrial commercial mixed-use district, which the other 90% of the parcel or area has been rezoned by you and the city council. This is about 15 acres in size. There's no address. Future land use map has this as light industrial. The current use is vacant. The proposed land use is for warehousing and logistics center. And the request again is to approve the rezoning from unclassified to industrial commercial mixed use district. And again, as part of the history, the P&Z has approved the larger parcel on July 19, 2022, and so has city council. And so this is again the 10% or so of the others of the parcel that needs to be rezoned. And planning and zoning staff is recommending approval. Here's the location. So again, we're just talking about the smaller 15-acre parcel. There's a zoning map. Again, it's unclassified. The other area has been rezoned to ICMUD. Here's the property pictures. And then the aerial image. Another view of the aerial image. And then, as is required by state law, we did send out notices to residents within 200 feet of this property, and as of today, we have received no responses. Here's the site plan, if you all remember it again. So in its totality, it will have 9 buildings, ponding areas, driveways, new streets, parking lots. And again, the summary of the request is for a rezoning, and staff is recommending approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have.
I don't have any questions. Ms. Cruz?
Thank you. It seems that the city of Socorro owns something that's abutting this property. Could you point that out on the map, which section that would be?
Let me double check. So what's the question, Ms. Cruz?
So the city of Socorro was provided notice based on having a land within that amount of, I guess, feet within this property, because it's listed in the back.
We're in the address.
And so I'm wondering which property is
I
the
have
one that
no
belongs to
idea.
the city of Socorro?
I don't have the GIS map that would allow me to click on it and tell you exactly which one it is, but it may, I mean, just looking at the aerial, it may be a vacant parcel of land that the city owns, it may be a park, it may be a pond. I just don't have that information with that parcel, which parcel that is.
Okay, and the aerial photo, it shows the shape of the triangle, and it also shows, the zoning map shows how it abuts, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different properties, and I'm just wondering, do you know if this triangle, is what I'm gonna call it, that we're approving today, which is a smaller part, is that above the decline of that area, or is it in the valley?
I don't know, ma'am. No, I don't.
Okay.
We're gonna get a subdivision plat once it's rezoned, and that's when we'll have topography and, topographical information and where the flows of the stormwater would be, or what, all that information. So that we don't require that for a rezoning, and I don't know specifically. I have not stood on that property to give you that information.
Okay, and the only reason I ask is because I worry about the neighbors that are down at the valley. It seems that there's a lot of trees. And I know that we're supposed to require ponding area, but nature and water does what it wants, and so I worry about any potential flooding, as we've had issues in the past with properties that are below I-10, but that's my concern. Thank you.
I want to make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have one quick question.
No, sorry.
Why weren't these 15 acres included in the original rezoning?
So, Mr. Estrada, if you remember, what happened is that we are by law legally required to give notice, and we neglected to include it in the agenda.
Okay.
And remember, we have to introduce, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to wait 2 weeks. And so we just neglected to include parcel 303, Robert Nix, number 303. We did 302 and 304. So that's why it's coming back.
Okay. Okay. All right, I understand.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Any second?
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyo to approve, second by Enrique Cisneros. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 7, consider and take action on the proposed approval of preliminary and final subdivision plat for DAA Farm Unit 2 located on Hole in the Wall Road, being all of track 4A and a portion of 4C3, Block 39, San Elizario Grant, County of El Paso, Texas. Mr. Gallinat?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you once again, Commissioner and Mr. Chair and Commissioners Carlos Gallinat. So this is a subdivision plat. Really what it is, it's a lot split into 6 different parcels. And again, as you know, we need the preliminary and we need the final. And when there are no public improvements being dedicated, which there are none at this time, we could approve it. We could take both the preliminary and the final, which is what's in front of you as a combination plat. There's no zoning on this. This is out in the ETJ. It's out in the county. The size is about 26.02 acres. The address, there's no address, but it is located on Hole in the Wall Road in San Elisario, around the San Elisario area. Future land use map, again, there's none. It's not applicable since it's not in the city limits. Land use is agricultural. The proposed land use is for single-family residential. And then again, the request in front of you is to approve a preliminary and final plat. The plat includes 6 single-family six single-family lots. And then, as I mentioned, there are no public improvements, and it meets all the requirements of our subdivision code, and that's why we are recommending approval. Here's the location map. So you can see it's out in the ETJ. Here's some property pictures. Here's the aerial image. Here's the preliminary plat just showing the boundary lines. There are some improvements on lot 6. And because there is no zoning, there's no regulations in terms of setbacks or lot size or any dimensional standards. And then here's the final plat, and again, it shows 6 different lots, and essentially what they're doing is just taking this big lot and turning it into 6 different lots. And with that, staff is recommending approval, and again, it's a request for a preliminary and final plat. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Reinhardt, all these will be self-ponding lots?
Yes, sir, correct. And they do have to coordinate with the county on any improvements, and they do have to coordinate with the county on the plat itself. So it's a two process. They take it to us, and then they also take it to the county.
And they're going to be R1 because they're more than 10,000 square feet? R1 residential or?
There's no zoning, sir.
Oh, there's no zone.
Yeah, so there could be
Just
whatever.
lots of-
Yeah, correct.
I had a question.
Ms. Cruz?
The applicant and are the applicants here?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe a couple years ago, we passed an ordinance that said that improvements similar to these would require sidewalks or dedication thereof. I'm assuming because it's in the ETJ, that's not going to apply here?
I didn't catch the last part of your question.
I'm assuming because it's in the ETJ, that wouldn't apply here?
Yeah, it depends on what the county wants. The county may require sidewalks, but that's going to be up to them.
Right, but it's not going to be up to us. So we've been in this situation before where it's county and sometimes even like in City of El Paso's ETJ, and everyone kind of says, well, just as long as you get approval from them, we don't care, and everyone kind of points the finger. And so you're saying that though the county may take a higher, I don't know, priority as to what requirements are there because it's in the county?
No, ma'am. So first of all, we do care. And part of what the process requires is for them to bring it to us. And so they've passed every single regulation that we have for the subdivision. When it comes to improvements, because they are not in the city limits, the city of Socorro will not maintain, we won't own them. We really defer that portion of it to the county.
Okay. And again, this might not be applicable since they are in the ETJ, but I have a concern with parcels being divided sort of like in these long sideways, because further down the line, let's say 20, 30, 40 years down the line, even those get split up, and I start to think of landlock.
Mm-hmm.
That starts to pop in my mind that might be an issue. And so is there anything in our ordinances that would apply that would try and help prevent that?
Yes, ma'am. So in our ordinance, every subdivided parcel needs to have access to a public right-of-way.
Okay.
So if they wanted to come back in the future to subdivide, they would have to build a road either across their property and or have a subdivided in a way that gives them, that each lot has access to a road.
Right, okay, perfect. And that would apply regardless of the fact that they're in our ETJ?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the preliminary and the final subdivision plots along with staff recommendations.
One second.
I'm sorry, can I ask who second the motion? I have a motion made by Julie Domingos to approve with staff recommendation, and second by Andrew Arroyos. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstained? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 8, consider and take action on the proposed approval of preliminary and final subdivision plat for Juanito's Trucking located on Gateway Boulevard West, being a portion of Track 15, AKA P-1, out of Track 1, Lane Clark, Survey number 298, City of Socorro, Texas, County of El Paso, Texas. Mr. Gallina?
Yes, ma'am. Final subdivision item in front of you. So this is called Juanito's subdivision. It's the title from the previous one. But this is a pretty simple process. The owners are looking to develop their parcel of land, and in order to develop it, you have to have a subdivision plat. So this is just bringing it into conformance. The zoning is unclassified, and if you will notice on your agenda, there's an introduction to a rezoning from unclassified to C2 with a conditional use permit for a trucking company, so that is also part of this case. You'll hear that in 2 weeks. So again, it's unclassified, but in the process to being rezoned. It's about 2 acres in size. It's on Gateway Boulevard West. Future land use map calls this light industrial. Land use is vacant. The proposed land use is for a trucking company, and again, seems appropriate, right? On I-10, adjacent to other C2s, adjacent to other M1s and M2s. And so from that perspective, the land use makes sense. And then again, it's to approve the preliminary and final plats. There's no public improvements, and it really is just to subdivide one lot for development purposes. And we are recommending approval. Here's the location. So it's on I-10. North of I-10, and you could see from the from the larger parcel map that it's on the northeast side of the city limits. Here is the zoning map, so it's unclassified. Here are the property pictures, just to give you an idea. Here's the aerial image. And then here's the preliminary plat, and all the preliminary plat shows is that there are no improvements. It does show some drainage data for us to review. And then the final plat shows the property lines. And with that, happy to answer any questions. We are recommending approval.
No question.
Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
Thanks. You said that it was close by to the one we just voted on? Did you say it was nearby?
no,
I
ma'am.
mean, they're both on I-10, right?
No, ma'am. The one you voted on is far from I-10.
Oh, I'm not talking about Honda, I'm talking about the other I-10 triangle.
The rezoning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's across the street, sort of. The rezoning, the first item you looked
Right.
at? Yes, ma'am. So it is north of that parcel.
Okay. And that you know of, do you know if, because I think you said light industrial, I guess as we've seen East Lake and Nuevo Hueco tanks expand, again, what pops into my mind is allowing for commercial use along I-10, as that would make sense. And light industrial obviously falls within the realm of commercial, but not necessarily leaving, I don't know, potentially enough, I mean, depending on where they build and how they build, right? Because we're not here for that yet. But do you know if, I mean, well, let me ask you this. Is the applicant here?
The engineer for the applicant is here.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I ask you a question? So where I was going with this is that
Good
typically...
afternoon. My name is Fermin Dorado Jr. with Dorado Engineering.
Hi, thank you for being here. Not all applicants come out when it's their item, so thanks for being here and for being here on the last one.
No problem.
I was just wondering, do you know if they plan to potentially leave any space between I-10 and wherever they plan to build, whatever they're going to build, to potentially in the future allow for maybe some commercial space to be available for whether it's lease or sale?
I do not believe so, just because it's pretty narrow in the front.
Okay.
So it would be difficult
Sure,
to put any kind of commercial, for commercial use,
right.
but, so it would be difficult.
Okay.
And then also we need to handle the drainage and runoff. So, and my understanding is that the pond for that lot will be there in the front.
Right, okay, so we're already limiting the space enough that it wouldn't be feasible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was just wondering, thank you so much.
Sure.
I think I have the answer to that. So on light industrial, that's on a major arterial is 60 feet.
I'm sorry?
Whenever anything is light industrial and it's on a major arterial, it's 60 feet from the major arterial. Setback, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't asking for the setback, I was just asking for any future use for leasing or selling for commercial. I'm thinking Burger King, I'm thinking a Dollar General, that's what I was, that's where my head is at. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve, second by Juan Vaquera. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioners.
Moving on to item number 10, Planning and Zoning Commissioner.
Go ahead,
I
Mr.
do
I
have some,
apologize. Item number 9, consider and take action on the bylaws of Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Gallina?
For you, and I believe that we handed out copies of the bylaws as they're currently written. And so this really is your item. If you all had asked us to put this on there, so we did.
Mr. Estrada, yes, sir.
Okay, so I want to refer everyone to Article 1, Item G. It's right behind, it's on page 2 of 10. And so on the last sentence there, it says, the phrase on there says, which are unexcused. So it reads, appointed member has 3 consecutive absences, which are unexcused. I think those 3 words right there are what's creating the issue for us, I believe, if we want to call it an issue. But I think making a motion to remove that phrase will solve our problem and get us to where we want to be. Basically saying if there's 3 consecutive absences, whether they're excused or unexcused, will allow us to vote on whether or not to remove one of the members or a member.
So, I think instead of adding, we could just remove it, so it could be shorter. And my question would be, do we still have to have, like, I'm wondering what we would have, and maybe this is a question for the attorney, like, would we have, like, maybe a motion to take roll, at the end of the meeting, potentially if someone, like, came in late or something like that, so that the absences can be counted? Or would that be something more administrative that they would take care of?
So I think that's something more actually for the minutes, because the minutes always reflect which commissioners were present. And when you guys approve the minutes or don't approve them, it'll say that. So we don't necessarily need a motion to take a roll, but our records should reflect it. So it might be something that if you guys, because I know you've had a question sometimes of how many absences there were, is at the end of the meeting, if there is a question, bring it up on the Planning Zoning Commissioner's report. And we're actually doing this with the city, I was at city council last week, I think, or a couple weeks ago. But they're looking at all the different boards and checking attendance, because it's an issue with other entities as well, like the Historical Landmark Commission has issues with that. So they're actually going through and we're now counting in all the absences for all the different groups and reporting back to city council. So, and they're amending their bylaws, just so you guys know, for those, some of those other commissions and everything like that as well. But yeah, so I think, you know, if you want to make an amendment to the bylaws, like was being suggested, you can make a motion to do that. And we're starting also, I think, to keep, did we have the numbers today on the absences?
We do have that information.
Okay, so we do have some of that information today. Like I said, city council is requesting it too.
So I guess I'm wondering, maybe we could just, like you said in the minutes, at the very top, the first thing is members present. Is that what we want to, what we would want to base our, because I guess what I'm wondering is, it says, upon majority vote of a quorum of voting members, we could recommend to city council the removal of an appointed member. And so my concern would be that if we don't add it as an item, then we wouldn't actually be able to take action, since we didn't, you know, we don't put in the agenda. And so I guess I'm thinking maybe we add to the bylaws that when staff or the secretary of the Planning and Zoning Commission has determined that someone has 3 absences, that they add it to the agenda to be voted on. So that it's not something that we're having to, you know what I mean, bring up and then potentially wait 2 more weeks to actually vote on it. Rather, it's more automatic, which is, I think, what Mr. Estrada was trying to get at. Right, like something just to be more efficient and automatic.
Well, more efficient, and we need to emphasize the fact that some of us are absent more than others, I guess, and it's just, you know, if so long as we keep or excusing the absences, then we don't have any teeth in enforcing anything, really. So we always vote, do we excuse absent members, do we unexcuse, and we always vote they're excused, and I think that part we need to remove completely, on whether we excuse or unexcused, and we can do that by removing that phrase on item G, which are unexcused. And if anyone has 3 consecutive absences, we can bring it to a vote and say, okay, do we want to remove these members?
Right, and so that's what I was saying, is that do we want to include a sentence at the end of G that says, staff to place item on the agenda once a member has reached 3 absences? Because what I'm imagining, let's say Mr. Gomez was 3rd today, and if that's not in here, and we're not paying attention, right, because we don't know, maybe we're kind of confused whether he's been absent 3 times or not. Next time we get there would be the time to vote, and if we didn't include it in the agenda, we wouldn't be able to take action on it.
Okay.
So I'm saying we automatically.
You're saying to add it on here, directing staff to automatically put it on the agenda.
Right,
to vote on
someone
it.
reaches 3 absences, add it to the agenda so that we can take action on it.
Actually, the person that's supposed to be taking absence roles is executive secretary. And I think my best bet
Yeah,
would be
that's
if we were to take
them.
off the agenda, excuse absent commissioner members. It is her responsibility to tell the manager that it's gonna be his 3rd absence. And it doesn't depend on us whether it's excused or unexcused. That's my saying. If he's absent, he's absent. If he's 3 times, he's out, that's fine.
Yeah, there's a few good points you made there. So one thing to also keep in mind is the bylaws stay in place even after your term is over. So this affects the next 50 years. If nobody makes changes, they stay. When I was looking at the Historical Landmark Commission, I think they haven't changed since 1992 or something. So you kind of keep that in mind, is if you change some of these things and you add certain language, I mean, it might affect the future, then have to go back and change it again. So it's usually kind of in the most simplest terms possible. Second point is this is, if somebody's absent 3 times here, you can make a recommendation to city council, but city council is still gonna take it up no matter what. And like you said, so it needs to be reported to the city manager, and so they can actually act on the 3rd absence with or without even the recommendation here. And that's currently what they're doing, that they wanna jump on it quicker, or even reach out to the P and Z, let's say it's P and Z or whoever it is, whichever members are absent, they're actually gonna probably call, I think city council discussing, that council member is gonna call you directly that appointed you and say, hey, what's going on, what's the issue? And then they take it up. So there'll be some other safeguards built in, but I think at minimum, yeah, if you remove excused, unexcused, that would probably solve the issue. It's just how the mechanics of how we do it with, okay, the executive secretary, are they going to announce it? Are they gonna put it automatically? I think you need to make sure that the person doesn't show up 3 times, and then after that, take action, not on that 3rd time, if you know what I mean, because you need to give people an opportunity to see. Okay, they didn't show
Consecutive,
up. Yeah.
3 consecutive absences.
Right.
Mhm.
So what I'm thinking is, we're touching the subject because of the situation we're in, right? But not too long ago, there was times where we didn't have quorum, right? So I think we might be overcorrecting a little bit, but I think we do need that rule. So the way that I've kind of rephrased it, and this is what I would submit, is that the P and Z will recommend to City Council the removal of any appointed member if the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences, right? I think that's, within the confines where we don't completely close it out to somebody that is missed 2, or, I really do think that we should keep the consecutive absences phrasing in there. And then we still do leave the final say-so to the elected officials. But I don't think we'll be in this situation much longer. I think there's a remedy working itself out right now. So that's what I would suggest if this is the verbiage I would support. The P and Z will recommend to City Council the removal of any appointed member if the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences. And then the administrative side can be handled by planning and zoning, is what I
So
would move
basically,
towards.
you are removing all of the voting language so that we don't have to vote on it.
That way, there's,
Yeah.
I think 3 consecutive meetings, which is more than a month and a half worth of meetings, I think it's something that I would be able to live with. And I think the majority of the board would as well.
Yeah, and we would be able to do, like, if we modify it so that we don't have to vote on it, then we just don't have to vote on it, right? I mean, there's no other rule that says that we would have to vote on taking that action.
I would still have some language that was suggested on, that it will be recommended to city council, because you need some kind of recommendation from here to city council to let them know, hey, we have an issue.
Right, but it actually states twice that we're voting on it, and so if you look at it, and I was following along as you said it, so yeah, the PZC will recommend to city council the removal of any appointed member if the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences. We're literally taking out twice that it says that we would be voting on it, which just is not necessary.
Exactly, and then the other thing too is because we're each appointed by a member of city council, if there's extenuating circumstances where that person, has something completely out of the normal where they needed to miss those meetings, they have a direct route to the city council person that appointed them to make their argument with city council. So I think that'll take care of what the situation we're dealing with right now. So I guess, does anybody have any questions about how it's written?
I wish we could put it up so that we could,
I have a question, if you don't mind. Regarding the excused and unexcused, how do we determine that?
Yeah, that was kind of a discretionary, but
I think you're getting rid of it, aren't you?
We
No,
would get rid of it?
but before then,
If they called,
that's basically it.
yeah, if we got a phone call, and sometimes they called, sometimes they didn't. And so I think even you would ask, we would tell you, and then the tendency was that you would approve the absence. during that item number 12, right? And then also to your point, that item number 12 would go away. We would no longer have that on the agenda,
Right. Saves us time.
right?
Right.
Yeah, so I think it's been kind of discretionary, because I think usually when people call in, there's some reason, I don't know, I've got some conflicting thing, or I'm out of town for work, or something like that. But really, it's hard to also put what's an excuse, what's not, somebody
Right.
might have a medical issue, maybe the last couple of years they thought they had a COVID exposure. So it's hard, but that's still kind of up to your discretion on how good of an excuse is an excuse.
It's just technically like a courtesy.
Yeah, it's usually a courtesy. I'll tell you, I think you guys have actually been very good, because the other Board of Adjustments we've had has not met in a year, and we almost had quorum, and so it could be like a year. This is probably, and just to make you guys feel good too, this is probably one of the more important commissions. There's a lot of, if you look at the revenue, that's generated by City of Socorro on how do they generate money in the city, a lot of it comes from planning and zoning and the permits and all those things. And the fees that developers have to pay to file applications. So this is one of, I think, the most important. It generates one of the most revenue, I think, in the city, if not the most. And one of the things is that if we did not have quorum on some of these meetings, and it used to happen, some of these plats, they can get approved automatically. And if I don't know if it was 30 days or 60 days.
30 days from a completed application, yeah.
And so that hasn't happened in a while, but sometimes something can fall in the cracks where there wasn't a meeting that month. And Carlos has been very good at it. We're going to reset another meeting, but there have been things that have been approved in the past that there was no meeting, it got approved, and then even city council didn't have a chance maybe to look at it. If they don't have a meeting either on time, then it gets approved. And you can see that it would create some huge problems where you didn't need to approve something and it's approved, so. It's been very good, but it's a good idea to look at these rules, because one of the complaints I heard from the other commissions was, well, everybody else takes the time to get here, and then, it's kind of a burden, because you are putting your family on hold or work on hold, so it's good to, kind of hold each other accountable too, and also the public also needs to understand that too, because a lot of times they get frustrated. Why aren't things moving in the city, or why is my application not being approved, and it's like, well, it counts on citizens that have to do it, and there's no compensation. And city council was also looking at in the last couple of weeks on, can they pay commission members, can they not? They've gone towards they can't legally, because there's just a lot of issues with that. But it's a good thing to look at, so, I think everybody else appreciates your guys' service too, so on this, it's, I know it takes time and everything, but yeah, if there's something that you guys have to recommend on this, I would definitely, make a motion to amend if you think it's appropriate.
So I'm going to make a motion to amend.
I need to step out. I'm really sorry. I need to step out to the restroom real quick.
Okay.
Don't give me water anymore.
We'll wait for you.
So we still have quorum, so we could continue, right? Or are we taking a break?
Yes, it's up to the chairperson, or you can
I'd like to wait for Mr.
Yeah.
Estrada.
take a brief recess.
Did you want to see the verbiage?
No, like I said, I followed it.
Okay.
So just be careful that you're talking. Mr. Cisneros? Public Meeting Act,
I'm sorry?
you're three, you're like talking.
We're still recording, right?
We either we're on recess or we're not.
We're recording? No. No, I think we can leave it on. Yeah.
You're fine.
Sorry, guys.
So I'd like to make a motion to amend the City of Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws, Article 1, subsection G, to state the following. The PCC will recommend to City Council the removal of any appointed member if the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences, period.
Can you repeat that, please?
All of it?
Yes, please.
I'm making a motion to amend the City of Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws, Article 1, Section G. The PZC will recommend to City Council the removal of any appointed member if the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences, period.
I'd like to amend that instead of if to once,
I'm sorry?
to change it where it says if, you see in the middle where it says of any appointed member, if the appointed member, instead of if, change it to once.
Was?
Once, as soon as the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences. So I would just say once the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences.
I'd also like to make a recommendation is instead of will, change it to may, to where we may recommend it to City Council instead of will.
I think the discussion was that we want this to be automatic, so if it's a may, it's gonna be a question, do we want to or not, then we'd have to vote on it each time. So I'm gonna read my motion again, and it's either gonna get a second or it's not. I will take Mr. Cisneros' recommendation once. I make a motion to amend the City of Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws, Article 1, Section G, to state the following. The PZC will recommend to City Council the removal of any appointed member once the appointed member has 3 consecutive absences.
It'll have more teeth to it with the will. It'll be fine. I'll second it.
I have a motion made by Marion Cruz to approve, to amend, I apologize, to amend Article 1, subsection G to,
You want me to read it? Do you have it?
to amend Article G, stating PZC will recommend to City Council
The
the
remo-
removal of any appointed member once the appointed members has 3 consecutive absences. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried.
May we have a copy of the bylaws once it has been changed, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 10, Planning and Zoning Commissioner Report.
Don't have anything to report, Mr. Cisneros?
Yeah, I do want to just let everybody know, I didn't know this myself, but the City of Socorro is hosting some really great networking events for business owners and for, even if you're not a business owner, they're great events for you to meet other local business owners in the City of Socorro. Tomorrow morning, they are hosting one at 7:30 in the morning, free breakfast at El Crucero. They are excellent events, excellent. So if you have the opportunity to go. El Crucero has delicious food as well. So, but I just want to make sure to let everyone know those networking events are really good.
Thank you.
You said tomorrow
Thank you.
during the day? So,
Tomorrow at 7:30. Tomorrow 7:30 in the morning. El Crucero.
early. I have just a comment, and I see our constituent here, member of the community, that has brought up the issue of Nuevo Hooco tanks. Drove by today, very dirty, lots of rocks. I get it, it's a construction site, but the road is not a construction site, and so I'm just bringing that up again because it seems to be a continuous issue.
Moving on to item number 11, Planning and Zoning Department Report.
Mr. Chair, I don't really have anything, just one item. I think you all may have remembered me talking about that the City Council have voted a few months back on a program called Socorro Sundays. And so starting on September 4th, every Sunday, moving forward, the first one being Labor Day weekend Sunday, from 7 a.m. to noon, Rio Vista will be closed to traffic and open to people and joggers and runners and families and kids and people who want to exercise or ride their bikes or bring their stroller or whatnot. So really great, exciting event that's going to be happening. Invite you all. I think you might have started to see some postings on social media. We are going to print out some flyers and put those out in the community. So we want to make sure that the community knows that, again, it's an opportunity to exercise, be outdoors, enjoy this really beautiful scenery every Sunday from 7 a.m. to noon. And so we'll close off the streets. We'll close off it right after Hilly Elementary, and you'll be able to park at Hilly. We've negotiated, not negotiated, but we have an agreement with SISD to use their parking lot. We're working with the irrigation district to utilize the Mesa Drain as part of the loop. And so, yeah, it'll be great, fun. Again, for you all, if you're thinking of something to do before football starts on Sundays, come on down to Rio Vista and the streets will be closed and you'll enjoy it all to yourself.
And they are looking for vendors.
Yes, and so once a month, we're looking at least once a month, maybe twice a month. This won't be every Sunday, but there'll be special events, again, once a month at the first Sunday of the month, where we'll have a farmer's market, we'll have vendors, there'll be different events. And so the first one on Sunday, September 4th, will be the kickoff. There'll be some vendors, we'll have activities, and it should be fun, and it's a really great thing.
I
So
do have a
invite you all.
question about that, actually, and I'm glad Diana's here because she might know more. It said something about an art event or like a free art something. I was just wondering what the art piece of it was going to be, if you know.
So right now, our wildness coordinator is scheduling yoga sessions. Our artists might do like a little art class with the public as well. So we're looking to do the kickoff event to have more than just the running, the walking, and the farmer's market. We want the people to engage and see that there is going to be activity there. I know Carlos said we'll do the events once a month, but maybe we'll do yoga sessions throughout some Sundays as well too.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I was just wondering if I should bring my canvas, right, and like my paints, and if someone was going to be showing me how to.
We'll get with the artists and see, so we can post ahead of time. what
Perfect.
it's anything. But most of the time, we provide supplies to the first come, first served.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Maran, I have a question. Just to make it clear, since we have all of these activities going on, there's no problem of three of us being at the same event, correct?
Yeah.
We're not talking business, we're not doing none of that.
Yeah, there's not a problem if you're in public and there's three of you, you can't discuss official business
Right.
from here.
Okay,
That's
just
it.
want to make that clear.
So please make plans to attend. Again, should be really fun and great and awesome.
Moving on to item number 12, excuse absence commissioner members.
I make a motion to not excuse. Or a motion to deny, I guess.
Did Mr. Gomez reach out to me?
Yeah, so he reached out to our office, he spoke with Judith. It's my understanding he will be submitting a resignation. As far as I know, we have not received that.
I second.
I have a motion made by Miriam Cruz not to excuse, second by David Estrada. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any
Aye.
nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 13, consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyo to adjourn, second by Miriam Cruz. All those in favor of the
Aye.
motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 6:20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the pins.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're really nice.